We are definitely not live. Hi everyone, welcome to the premiere episode of Fear and Hopium, a not-so-current event conspiracy clarity show. I am your host, Shay. You all know me, at least you think you do. I'm the one who wrote the blog, I'm the one who did the first bunch of interviews, but my handlers, they got a little bit too upset with me for being a little bit too fast and loose with the disclosure and the intel. And so, they dangled a carrot, they offered me something I couldn't refuse, and they dragged me back in, and they sent one of my clones to take my place for you guys, the Shane you have come to know. So Shane and I, we differ on some things. He thinks that real life is real life and we can't just make it up as we go. But, let's just hope he never finds out about this show. So make sure you don't tell Shane anything about this show. So, I am here via the technology of Bluebeam. So I decided to go with something familiar, Shane's background, and I am projecting myself in here via the magic of Bluebeam from a nice, safe, undisclosed location. And so the first order of business today. Whole lot of lights in the sky. Started in New Jersey, kind of spread out. Now it's all over the place, but people are seeing an awful lot of lights in the sky, specifically around America, parts of the UK, but, what happened here is, around 2020, there was a big event that caused some schools to close, and kids stayed at home a lot more, and they got a proper education, finally, via the internet. And what that led to was a uptick in magical children. And, Hogwarts, the school for witchcraft and wizardry, they didn't really recruit from the States all that much, but because of this massive uptick, they started to recruit from the United States. And like I said, a lot of kids in the States, they were locked at home for a long time, and they got a proper education. They became little witches and wizards. And so the recruitment from the United States is a big part of what's going on here, because right around Christmas time, the kids get to come home, you see. And typically, over there in England and the UK, they could just take the train and then get picked up at the train and driven home. But in America, they don't have the train yet, right? They don't have a train going to America for these kids. So each kid has to actually be picked up personally at home. And, the carriages that they use that appear to fly through the sky to people who can't see thestrals are the reason for the car-sized drones, car-sized unidentified flying objects flying around up there in New Jersey. And then, because all the muggles were seeing this, they were sending up their own drones. They were curious as to what those things flying around up there in the sky were. And so they sent up their own drones, which just muddied the waters, made it a lot more chaotic for everybody. But the entire event and the mass consciousness that went into it, well, that caught the attention of the Mothman. And so the Mothman also made an appearance during all of this. And because the Mothman showed up, the government had to go and get involved like they do, right? They just had to go and get involved. So what the Mothman brought forward was the release of the angel demon gray bugs. Did I get that name right? Yes, it was angel demon gray bugs, which, as most of you savvy listeners out there will already know, is a type of reptilian human hybrid. And that is what we need to fear. The alien demon gray bugs. That is what we need to fear. So it wasn't the alien invasion, it wasn't the false flag alien invasion using this here technology of Bluebeam. Not yet. That day's coming, guys. It's just, a few weeks away now. It's not now. That's all. So hopefully that helps bring you guys some clarity to the subject. So our next order of business has to go with Rachel Green. The actor, Rachel Green. No, the actor who plays Rachel Green. We don't want to incriminate the poor person, so we won't use her actual name. We will call her the actor, Rachel Green. You know, the Illuminati are people, they've got this future-seeing technology, and so what, was pretty popular to do back in the day was look into the future and find out what TV shows, what movies, things like that were going to be really popular, and then try to get your kid casts, way in advance for that, right? So, the parents of the actor Rachel Green, they were Illuminati members, of course. Right, and they used that future-seeing technology. They found out that the TV show Friends was going to be super popular, and so what they did was they found themselves the people who were going to cast Friends, and they started asking them, we really want our child to be one of the stars of Friends. Unfortunately, the cast of Friends had 3 female roles and 3 male roles, and all the male roles were filled. So that was just fine because they could make little Ricky into someone else, and then they could fulfill the role of the actor Rachel Green later in the future. And we all know how that works, right? Their transhumanism and all those funky things that they do, raising that poor child that way. And then they have the actor Rachel Green. And what do they do to rub our faces in it? Pun intended. Right there in a Friends episode, they have an episode where one of the childhood friends comes back and divulges to the crew that back in the day, Ross and this gentleman who happened to be married to the actor Rachel Green had a club back in the day. The Rachel Green Haters Club or something like that, I can't remember. But they had a club for hating Rachel. And what did that club do? You're going to love this. That club spread a rumor. That's right. Wink, wink, a rumor that Rachel Green had an itty-bitty tiny weenie. And they're just rubbing it in our faces, people. That brings a little bit of clarity to that subject. But another one that gets tossed into the mix all the time, a Miss Kate Hudson. And let me tell you guys a story. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who... him and Kate Hudson, they got it on. Actually, no, it wasn't him and Kate Hudson that got it on. It was he saw Kate Hudson and her husband at the time get it on. And, no, he didn't. But what he did tell me was definitely still true, which is that there's nothing tucked away down there. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's get back into something important. And so for our final segment, we're going to talk about something I overheard at the cloning centers, because part of being brought back in means I have to go back to the cloning centers. Taylor Swiftie, she's been looking to make a new album, and so anytime she's looking to make a new album, or Miley Cyrus, or any of these ladies are looking to make a new album, they drag me in to write songs. And, I've been down there a lot lately, and so I picked up the intel that, one of Joe Biden's many clones, and I'm sure you guys understand that he has many clones, and then there's Jim Carrey in The Mask, and yada, yada, yada. But one of his many clones was giving a speech somewhere down in the jungle. I think it was Peru or something like that. But after the speech, he just kind of wandered off. I guess he was real high, and he just wandered off, and he went out into the jungle, and he was never seen again. And that was fine for them, because as I said, they got many clones, and they can always put Jim Carrey in that mask and trot him out to play the role of Biden if they need to. But, he wandered off. Well, the White Hats that I know personally wanted me to bring some very important intel for you. And that is that clone of Joe Biden found himself a tribe of forest people. Forest people are what you might know as Sasquatch. And they befriended the clone of Joe Biden. They brought him in. They liked him. They thought he was funny. They really liked that joke about Uncle Corn Pop. And so they brought him in, and they made him one of them. And they've been teaching him their language. And so he and the White Hat community are working together. And once Joe Biden has the language down, and he can properly translate in real time for the forest people, the Sasquatch, they're going to come back out from the jungle. They're going to march right up there to Donald Trump's White House, and they're going to provide Sasquatch disclosure. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Joe Biden's clones, at least one of Joe Biden's clones, is going to provide disclosure, playing the role of translator and ambassador to the Sasquatch people. And so there's your hopium. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this little episode of Not So Current Conspiracy Events. And you can call this Fear and Hopium. So don't forget to like this channel, subscribe to this show. I knew I was going to screw that up, Bob. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, tell all your friends, share it far and wide. Your true hardline to disclosure has returned. And I am here to provide you with fear and hopium. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye. Rubbing it in our faces, people.